I think all of us have that voice in our head that tells us what we're supposed to be doing. If you know you're supposed to be great, that voice in you is going to tell you that. You can choose to listen to it, or you can choose to let the weaker voice inside of you suppress what you know you were meant to be. So as long as you listen to the voice that tells you that you're supposed to be great and you're supposed to be doing things that are bigger and better than what your family is doing, I think you're okay. Now you have to be strong enough to fight the suppression that's going to come towards you from your family. But once you decide to do that, everybody will say it's dangerous until you've made it. My dad was always, son, don't you think that's enough? Don't you think that's enough? No. Now he's like, son, I've never seen anybody work as hard as you. And he truly respects me. So a lot of times people don't believe in you until you finally arrive. So I think that's something very important to remember. In addition to that, I always say that suppression is wrapped in love. So a lot of times if people are uncomfortable with the things that you're doing, just remember that you are directly intimidating them by the actions that you took in spite of their inactions. So just remember that.
People message me saying, hey, my family's not supportive of what I want to do, and my family don't believe I should try and do this, or my family thinks I should go down this route. And I think the number one thing that especially parents are worried about when they see their children is they don't like the idea of seeing them be lazy. They go, I don't want to go to college. My parents want me to go to college. I say, well, have you sat down with your parents and explained to them what you're going to do with all those years instead? Look, I'm not going to go to college. Here's what I am going to spend 6 hours a day doing this, 2 hours a day doing this, 1 hour a day in the gym. Across next year, I'll be doing this apprenticeship. I'll get this certification. I'll be able to go here and do this. I'm going to get this passport. I'm going to go here. Or if you just said, I don't want to go to college and turn the TV back on. Then why do you think they want you to go to college, right? It doesn't matter what you do. I think if you're a child and you explain to your parents or all the people who love you or the people around you are trying to push you in a certain direction and say, look, I have a plan. This is what it is. I have a finite amount of time on the planet. I'm going to dedicate it towards X. I'm going to make sure this is successful. I'm going to do it right. And you show competence and you show that you genuinely give a shit and you're up before them and go to sleep after them. They're not going to hate on anything you do. I think a lot of the people are saying, oh, my parents are trying to suppress me. No, what your parents are trying to do is inspire you to do something because you're a lazy fuck. You ain't doing shit. And I completely understand that if you have a fucking teenage son sitting around smoking weed, you want to send his ass to college. Like, what else is he going to let him do? Sit there and smoke weed?
You have to look at it as your opportunity to be a hero. All of us are riding that journey of where we're going to have adversity. There's never been a good movie where the hero in the beginning did not get his shit rocked. That was his opportunity to overcome. There's no montage. There's no happy ending without tragedy in the beginning. 100%. If you're struggling right now, it is your opportunity to be a hero in your own fucking life. And if you look at it any other way, you will fail and fail hard. That's the biggest risk for a privileged kid, because the privileged kid has the biggest handicap. It's like being a lion that's raised in the zoo and the zoo closes. Well, you got to get kicked out in the jungle and learn how to hunt. And if you can't fucking hunt, you are in trouble. So for all the guys that don't have a great life coming up, I promise you the lack of safety net is the biggest gift you will ever be given.
There is nothing better about life than comparing back to the times when you didn't have shit. I'm telling you, the best thing about being rich, the number one best thing is talking about how you were broke. Without the juxtaposition, without the change in speed, without the acceleration, it means nothing. If you're traveling 200 miles an hour, you don't notice. You only notice the acceleration. I believe it's decisions. People who are broke decided to be broke. It really is not that difficult to make money. I really don't think it is.
Man, there's a million ways to make $1 million. I think you have to pick something, put your time in, get competent at it, stay in the fight long enough to make the fucking money. There's no one way to make $1 million.
You can go ahead and save your way to, being a millionaire in 30 fucking years. But last time I checked, if you guys are watching podcasts like this, we grab life by the fucking horns and we go after it, okay? We're not sitting here hoping for fucking 5, 6, 7, 8% returns, compounding interest for 30 years. We're about making this fucking money right now, getting double-digit ROIs, and actually being able to enjoy this money in our fucking youth while we still can. Facts. Okay?
And that's the point right there, is that you can't save your way to really being wealthy anyway. By the time you save $1 million, $1 million is not going to be worth shit. Me and Sneeko were talking about that today. There's kind of a formula of wealth. And you make the money, you find a way to keep the money from taxes or other things, and then you find a way to make that money grow. And a lot of times just doing something like putting in an SP 500, that's great and everything to grow over time, but you better be beating that inflation rate now. Because if you're not, then the money, you can have $1 million, but it won't buy you anything.
Is crypto a good way to avoid the inflation rate?
I think crypto is a good thing to buy. I've put over 350,000 in this year myself, and if it drops any more, it's going to be multiple six figures in again.
Yeah, putting it in a bank is an L.
But I wouldn't put it in a shit coin. I mean, I'm talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I'm not really trying to move. I would not advise trading a bunch of it unless you're doing that full time.
I mean, when you were growing up, Justin, do you have how'd you get this type of information?
First of all, you had to read a book hardback, old school wise. I remember the first time I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was a junior in college. We were going to play Arkansas. I read it on the bus, and then YouTube came out, and I started getting information through that. And then the world has absolutely changed in the last 10 years. You can actually not only find out about ways to get more consciousness, more education on how to grow yourself, but you can actually be in touch with these people now, which I feel like has changed a lot in the last few years with the groups, man. So networking it's more available than it has ever been. And it's the biggest gift that any young man could ever have. And whether you know it or not, you must figure out how to take advantage of it. I think success is a two-way thing. The first part is climbing the mountain, right? The second part is putting your head up and looking for more mountains to climb. Because the most most dangerous thing that can happen to you in your life is that you get to where you're going and you have nowhere else to go. And all that is looking for more consciousness. So constantly, every day, I'm looking for things that I don't know that I don't know. And when they come into my consciousness, I have something else to climb. And I always attach it to why it'll make me a better person. It's not like I'm learning how to cook shit. And so you go from kind of understanding, reading P&L, let's say, and understanding accounting and how to hire some people. And then you kind of get into the greater understanding of your industry or country that you're in, and then how it all spirals up on a macro. And then you have to start putting things like politics or geopolitics or religion or trade wars, anything that ties into what could affect you back home, how money actually works, the velocity of money, interest rates, how America is able to control things by the fact that we have the reserve currency. All those things that were so far out of my consciousness just a few years ago. You have to continue to look for bigger mountains, bigger understandings in order to have a reason to keep pushing forward. I don't know everything. I'm well aware of it. The tricky part is finding the things that I'm not aware of that I can actually make useful to me.
Right.
And staying the fuck away from things that will never serve me. There are more things that I say no to learning than things that I ever say yes. I am a true believer in information diet. Like if I don't need to learn it, there's so much shit that I don't know that I need to learn and truly understand that I do not have time to learn how to cook lasagna. I don't give a fuck if it's going to impress somebody or not. I will order that shit in, bro.
Yeah.
So you got to be like really, really in tune with what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to. And then you have to consciously be looking for more consciousness on a level that will make you a substantially better person at whatever endeavor that you're after. So right now, my goal is to spread the word that masculinity is not a bad thing, that you can be a masculine man and have a woman that's very, very happy because you are such. To help guys do that, I am driving them into the war room. I'm very, very clear about that. And then from there, I just want to be able to help any young man I can, or any man in general, become a better man, because then he'll be happier. And then I do believe a woman will be happier for it as well. By making the YouTube videos, doing the interviews, giving guys the permission to be strong so they can be admired, so they can find what I think real love looks like, because I do believe in love, then I'm helping society as a whole. I feel like if I help enough men, I'll make money in the real world because of it. Because people will come work for me or do deals with me or trust me in a way that they would not have ever trusted me before. And for that reason, I'll make my money back and then some just by helping guys out for free in the beginning. What's the problem with that? To me, man, I think that the return will come in not year 1, but year 2, 3, 4, 5, where I'm like, hey, I'm going to build this apartment complex. Who wants to jump in with me? They've been watching my videos for years. Yeah. And I've actually helped them build their business so they can even be in a position to invest with me in the first place. Let's make some fucking money together. Profit's not a bad word, and I don't want to be friends with a person I can't make money with.
Yeah.
I have no interest in playing fantasy football.
And a lot of people have a bad connotation of money too.
You know, it's funny. People think like rich people had to fuck people over.
Yeah.
The best people I've ever met in my life are rich people.
They can give more. They can be in a place of where they're not in desperation. And desperate people are dangerous people.
Yeah. It's not the bad man I'm worried about. It's the desperate man. And a lot of times people don't get to any kind of wealth or any kind of substantial business that can stay in the market for a long time if they're fucking people, because that gets out very, very quickly.
That's business 101. If you're thinking that, rich men had to like fuck so many people over, you do realize there's the internet now where you can post bad reviews. You can see if they fuck people over. You can see if they're on rip-off report. There's just no way you're going to be able to make it if you continuously fuck people over. It's just almost impossible.
It's absolutely true. I couldn't agree with you more.
What's your kind of final message to the people that are watching right now and the men that are listening to you and they're going to follow you?
I would say to understand that life is going to be hard, that you should expect to go through struggles, and that anything that hurts or anything that is a struggle or difficult or painful is probably something that's going to make you a better man. You should really take consideration into the fact that weak men are the problem, and that if you can become the kind of man that a woman wants to get behind, that you'll never have issues with women. What you want in your life is to go out there and find truth. And when you find that, you need to create an abundance in your life that gives you choice. And if you can have truth and find choice in your life, you know without a shadow of a doubt you're living life on your terms. You have succeeded as a man. But that is something to be earned, and it's possible for every man.